Well, Tennessee has played with a lot of young players, and those young players at midseason now are finally coming around and getting some seasoning.
And here is the kickoff. It is Baker about 3 yards deep. He will go to one knee. And here is the Tennessee offense. They're going with a true freshman, Casey Clausen, first true freshman to start at Tennessee since Peyton Manning in '94. He has a huge offensive line, but they have been beaten up, and they do not have great experience. They average 307 pounds across the front. Travis Henry over 700 yards rushing. Cedric Wilson had 10 catches in last year's win over Memphis, including the game winner with a minute to go. Here is Clausen, the freshman from Northridge, California. And he runs Henry in a very short game. Defensively, they have allowed only 64 yards per game rushing. And this is a big reason why Andre Arnold is their rush specialist. 10 sacks this year. Marcus Bell, All-American candidate, in the middle. The middle linebacker is Shakir. We talked about him, but Terry and Ballard can really run. Trevor really feels this is the best group of defensive backs in Conference USA. Michael Stone will be playing on Sundays next year. This is Henry. Travis, not much, maybe one more yard. Idris Bashir, the free safety from Decatur, Georgia.
Well, interesting how they come out. Steve, they come out just pounding the ball right off the bat. And this is patience that Philip Fulmer wants his young offense to have. They need to understand that a run of 3 yards, maybe 4, maybe 3 again, are good as they establish the run and make it 3rd and short. And right now they've got 3rd and short. So Tennessee wants to see if Memphis is legitimately the best defense against the run in the nation, or if they just haven't faced somebody as big as this O-line and as tough as Travis Henry.
8th in the SEC, converting 3rd downs, just 39%. Well, they run Henry again. He will not get the first down. Well, let's see. They will give him enough. On 3rd and short, he does get the first down.
Well, how about that, Tennessee? 3 runs to start the game. They get a first down.
727 yards. He comes in needing 118 to move into 4th place all time at Tennessee. His total is 2,491. Clausen goes right back to the ground, and Henry's ripped up. Marcus Bell, the senior defensive tackle.
Well, one of the best ways to be a great run defense is to penetrate into the backfield and trip them up. Take a look at Marcus Bell. He's going to be right over the center. He's going to come between the combination block of the center and the guard Gooden, and he makes that tackle before Henry has a chance to even get up into the line of scrimmage.
We had a chance to meet with Marcus yesterday. Delightful young man from Memphis, Tennessee, and a real warrior. His explosion off that line of scrimmage is tremendous.
And he knows it, too. And when he looks you in the eye, you realize there's somebody looking back at you.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. The reverse. Leonard Scott past the 35. They'll still need about 3 for a first down.
And so far, Steve, they have not thrown the ball. It's been all runs. Leonard Scott is their designated gadget man. When he gets in on offense, you can expect he's going to come around on the reverse. You can expect him to get the ball on an inside screen, an outside screen, a reverse like this. Memphis has got to watch for this guy because when he's in, Keon.
Memphis had 2 weeks off. Their last game was a triple overtime loss against Houston, the most devastating defeat this year. So 2 weeks to prepare for a team 400 miles to the east. In Knoxville, Tennessee, these Volunteers. Clausen, his first pass is caught for the first down. Dante Stallworth, the sophomore from Sacramento, California.
Well, this is good for Casey Clausen, a young quarterback. He's got 2 starts in college football in his life. Victories over Alabama and then South Carolina last week. And this is the first pass of the game. This is open because, as you see Stallworth, number 4, go to the outside. This is open because the defense has had to settle into the middle to try to stop that run. That opens up the perimeter. It was a nice job by Clausen in finding it.
You see how Tennessee stays in that I formation. They look to go back in the ground. No, play action. Clausen rolling left and just dumping it out. And he has his man, Cedric Wilson, his favorite target this year. His 42nd catch.
This is a tremendous throw by the true freshman, Casey Clausen. They fake the ball, run to the right. This works because the running game has been good this series, and he lost the ball over the underneath zone. Greg Harper, number 42, looks like he got beat. He didn't. He's the underneath zone man. The deep zone was too far back to do anything about it, and Casey did a nice job of lofting the ball into the gap.
From the 32, Travis Henry cut down. Fine defensive play by Michael Stone, the senior from Southfield, Michigan.
Well, Michael Stone's a guy we'll be watching all game. They'll rely on him at the other corner, Marcus Smith, to shut down the passing game so that the running game can be stuffed by into the box. And the thing that impressed me, Steve, about that play by Michael Stone was that he's a cornerback, and he came up and laid a lick on Travis Henry. Most cornerbacks will kind of grab him and hold him so the linebackers can come up and make the hit. That's good courage.
Travis Henry is limping off. He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Week, running for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns in their win over South Carolina. But they have a good man behind him in Travis Stevens, number 34. And Stevens gets it right away, is inside the 30 to the 29, where Shakir hammers him down. Big number 48, middle linebacker, a Dick Butkus candidate.
Well, he wanted to run to the right. It was an ISO lead. Will Bartholomew, the fullback, went to the right, but they stuffed it on that side. Stevens had to cut back to the left away from his lead blocker. Look at the lead blocker go up here, and look at Stevens have to bend it back. 45, Bartholomew goes to the right. Stevens comes back to the left, and he's got no help over there.
The first, 3rd and long for young Casey Clausen. 3rd and 8. The rush is on. They keep it short. Will Bartholomew has the first down inside the 20-yard line. So Clausen very efficient. He has led the Vols to wins in his first 2 starts over Alabama and South Carolina, 2 very good opponents, and he's looking smooth on this first drive.
And for a true freshman to play at this level against this caliber of competition is really a tribute to him. Here he finds Bartholomew wide open now. Will Bartholomew doesn't have a carry yet. He is strictly a blocking fullback, but he is a very good receiver out of the backfield. And when you've got those linebackers coming up to stop the run, he slips out and is open a lot.
In motion goes David Martin. Clausen again, play action. He's being pursued, and Clausen is sacked. Patrick Lewis, the senior from Memphis, his 2nd sack this year.
Well, this is one thing about the defensive ends in Memphis. They're very fast. Willis, number 87, stays home. This is a good job of not coming inside and biting on that play fake to the opposite side of the ball. That's just good technique and good discipline.
But since he's outside of the tackles, why doesn't he just throw it out of bounds? He lost 11 there. He's out of field goal range.
That's the problem with the rookie quarterback. You have him do well, a good play, and then a play like this gets you out of your down and distance situation.
2nd and 20. Clausen downfield, had a man open, and it is intercepted. He overthrew his wide receiver, and Idris Bashir with the pick. The first mistake by the true freshman from Northridge, California.
Well, remember, Steve, the last time he had to throw between the zone, there was a lot of space, and he lofted the ball over the inside players.
Eligible receiver downfield on the offense. Penalty is declined. We have an interception. First down.
This time the zone was much more tight. Take a look at the underneath guys and then the over-the-top guys. Idris Bashir is over the top. And there's not much space. Michael Stone, number 44, is very tight on Cedric Wilson.
He has to learn to throw that away. That's 3 blue jerseys right around Stallworth.
Yeah, it was. That was Dante Stallworth. But that's why you want to make sure that Clausen has to nickel and dime you down the field. You expect him to make a mistake eventually because he's young.
Poor field position for young Scott Shearer from Collierville, Tennessee, the coach's son. They will run it right away, and they need that kind of effort from Sugar Sanders today. Scott Shearer is the starting quarterback, the coach's son. The media guide lists him at 5'11". He His dad says he's only 5'9". Offensive line must play well. Hicks and Hampton are fine tackles. Lou Esposito is their inspirational leader. Sugar Sanders must play well. He has almost 500 yards rushing. They also want to get Billy Kendall involved, their tight end, who goes 6'6", 240 with 14 catches this year. A gain of 5 by Sanders. 2nd and 5. Scott Shearer completes the pass, and they will get the first down past the 20-yard line. Well, this is the defense that Shearer will be looking into. Great defensive line. Will Overstreet 4.5 sacks. John Henderson has 8 sacks. The linebackers, all 3 were tremendous high school running backs. They can run all over the field and make tackles. Miles and Gaines are fine cover corners. Andre Lott moved from the cornerback position to strong safety, and he is tough. The I-back, Sugar Sanders. Look at this. They're running the ball well against a Tennessee defense that did a remarkable job against both South Carolina and Alabama.
Well, they've simplified their attack.
There is a flag down, though.
Instead of having a lot of different running plays and having the offensive line to practice all the fundamental techniques, in the last 2 weeks, keep in mind they had a bye last week, they shortened it down and they come into this game with 4 or 5 basic runs. Inside zone, middle zone, ISO lead.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
And the counter. And so the offensive line has gone right back to training camp fundamentals. Sugar Sanders right here makes this cut. There's the holding right there. And that's Eric Westmoreland, number 42, the All-America candidate outside linebacker. The holding was created because of his penetration. But you've got a simplified running game for Memphis. They just want to make sure they get to the right guy.
Costly it is. It's now 1st and 22. They will send Wade Smith in motion. Scott Shearer back and underthrows his target, Al Sermon, his big wide receiver who goes 6'6", 194. So he wants it upstairs, not downstairs.
Yeah, he's got a long ways to reach down. Al Sermon is nicknamed the Worm because he's very long and very narrow, and if he's a tall drink of water, it's being drunk through a stir straw, not a regular straw. But he can reach for that football.
Hey, how about against Houston? Shearer played very well, 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions, but Memphis would lose in 3 overtimes. Shearer looking deep. Incomplete 45-yard line.
Boy, that's an interesting non-call by the official.
Willie Miles was in that area. So was Andre Lott. They're talking to Bunky Perkins, number 1.
Willie Miles at the very last second turned around and looked back for that football. Had he not, the official might have called interference because he slowed down and impeded Bunky Perkins from going the last distance to get that ball. But you talked about Scott Shearer last week against Houston. Keep in mind, he's Rip Shearer, the head coach's son. He knows this offense probably better than any other person in the organization, including all the coaches. And
because of youth at quarterback, they are dead last in Conference USA in converting 3rd downs. Blitz is on. They dump it off Sanders. Sugars past the 20. He needed to get to the 33 for a 1st down. Eddie Gaines on the tackle.
Well, terrific play by Eddie Gaines. Ryan Johnson, the wide receiver, blocked him, got him on the ground, and Gaines got up, reoriented himself, and made that tackle.
So they do get a 1st down in the drive that started inside their own 10-yard line. It came after Idris Bashir was able to intercept a Casey Clausen pass after Tennessee had taken it from their own 20 all the way inside the 20 of Memphis, but they come up with no points. Hunter Ben Graves is on. Picked up by Rashad Baker, and he is tackled at the 42-yard line. 36 yards in the punt. Strong field position for Tennessee when we come back. Scoreless in Memphis, Tennessee. When these these two teams last met at the Liberty Bowl in '96. They called it the upset of the year in college football. Let's go back. Tennessee leading Memphis 14-7 late. Kickoff return by Memphis' Kevin Cobb. A play that would later be titled the play of the year in college football. That tied the game at 14. After a field goal by Tennessee, Memphis' Quadri Anderson would go to tight end Chris Powers for the go-ahead touchdown. As Memphis beats Tennessee for the first time in school history, they tore both goalposts down. They partied deep into the night, and certainly in Memphis, you got plenty of opportunities to party in this town.
And don't think that they haven't been talking about that, looking at that game film, because they want Memphis' players to believe that they can do it again.
Tennessee on offense for the second time. 58 yards to go. Clausen, play action. Looking downfield, has room to run. And he is mugged around the 46-yard line after a 4-yard gain. Hey, Trevor, how about your Tennessee game plan?
Well, to start with, Tennessee's got to take these guys seriously, but they've got to protect Clausen. They are the most sacked team in the Southeastern Conference. They've got to throw the ball downfield, and that's important because if they have to dink it down the field, there's too many opportunities for the young quarterback to make a mistake, and the defense has got to line up right against some pretty unusual formations for Memphis.
Travis Henry healthy and back in after he limped off the field on their last offensive possession. How about the Memphis game plan?
Well, for Memphis, they need to start by making sure that they play with emotion, unleash Sugar Sanders. They've got to run the ball effectively so that Scott Shear will have time to throw. Last week against Houston, or 2 weeks ago, they were 0 for 11 on one stretch on third downs. They've got to convert third downs, and they can't let Travis Henry beat them. Make the kid beat them, and make him beat them, dinking it down the field to make opportunities for a freshman mistake.
Henry right now averaging less than 3 yards per carry. They converted all their third downs. They go downfield, incomplete. Again, terrific coverage from Michael Stone. Pressure from Andre Arnold, who has 10 sacks this year.
Well, Michael Stone doesn't just stay close to Dante Stallworth. He mugs him on the line of scrimmage and disrupts the release of the wide receiver. That disrupts the timing of the pass, and therefore the ball's overthrown because Stallworth wasn't as far down the field as Clausen thought he would be.
It is 3 and out for Tennessee, and once again, the Memphis Tigers have not allowed a touchdown this year in the first quarter. Well, they don't start with good field position again. That was figured inside the 10-yard line, let it go, but he makes that at the 8-yard line. 6.5 minutes left first period. It is a scoreless ball game here in Memphis, Tennessee. Quarterback Scott Shear only goes 5'9", 180. We asked the coach who Scott's mom thinks should start against Mean Tennessee.
She thinks Neil Suber should be the starter. No, she understands the nature of the game, and she'll sit up there in our box that she has. My mother will be there saying the rosary. We have the Bishop of Little Rock, Monsignor, and a priest all up there, so we're covering all our bases.
Well, here is a young man who was only recruited by Ivy League schools, Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, Davidson. But because he is such a fine academic, he also figured, hey, you know what? I want to coach maybe my future, so who better to learn from than Pop? Sugar Sanders gets it out to the 10-yard line where the tackle was made by Andre Lott. But Shearer really an interesting story because here was a guy who was mainly a wishbone option quarterback in high school, but he has been raised in the game. So there's nobody at reading Tennessee's defense than Scott Shearer.
That's the first thing a quarterback needs to know. I mean, a lot of guys can throw the ball. The first thing a quarterback needs to know is where to throw it. Second, when to throw it, because the receiver only comes open at a certain portion of his route. Then is to throw it. Scott Shearer knows when and where to throw it, and he's got enough arm to get it there.
2nd down and 8. They will run. Sanders is not able to escape John Henderson and Edward Kendrick. Albert Hainsworth also in there at 310 pounds, got his hand in. D'Angelo Lloyd was there to finish him off.
Well, Hainsworth benefits from all the double teaming on Henderson. Take a look at him come through. He just comes off a single block and he gets a hold of Sugar Sanders' jersey. But that's because there's all the double teams on all the other guys in there.
Volunteers third in the SEC in scoring defense, but first against the run. Only 71 yards per game. Now Shearer looking for the option. Wow. On third down and 12 yards to go, they thought they would cap Tennessee napping, but Tennessee's speed is too good for that.
Yeah, they don't want to go outside if they can help it, but here's why. They're third and long. They do not want to have the possibility of a big mistake with a quarterback having to sit back in the pocket. You might have an interception, you might have a sack and a fumble, and Memphis would much rather run a conservative play on third and long, punt the ball away, and don't make the big mistake on offense. Let their defense win the game for them.
Now Ben Graves, who's averaging 41 yards per punt, getting ready to send it to Rashad Baker, but he barely gets the ball back and then punts it out of bounds. So that's exactly what you're talking about. Wet weather, mistakes, and in the end zone, you can't make mistakes.
Well, see, and this is unusual for especially this squad. Ben Graves, an outstanding punter. Jared Pig, the long snapper, an outstanding long snapper who's playing with a torn medial collateral ligament in his knee because he's so valuable in that position. Why does this ball come through his hands? Because it's wet down there. That's a routine catch and kick for Ben Graves if it's dry. But when it's wet, the ball goes right through your hands, and that's what happened there. I've snapped a lot of balls in that situation, and you've got to make sure that they go into the punter's torso, that he doesn't have to reach with his hands.
11 yards on the punt. So Tennessee, excellent field position, their last two offensive opportunities. Stevens slams his way to the 16. Kamal Shakir, Koot Terry on the tackle.
Well, Tennessee has been playing with the field position so far the entire first quarter. Now with this big play on that punt, they've got to convert this into a touchdown. If Memphis can stuff them for just a field goal here, that'll turn the momentum back into Memphis's favor. So this is a critical drive early in this game.
They have scored 26 of 31 times inside the 20, 15 touchdowns, so only 15 touchdowns in 31 tries. That's because of youth at quarterback. Clausen, they run the football. They get the first down. Again, it is Travis Stevens, the 5'9" junior from Clarksville, Tennessee. It'll be first and goal for the Volunteers.
Boy, Troy Fleming, an H-back, comes across and delivers a hellacious block on Koot Terry, number 37. Take a look at Koot Terry just get driven out of there by Troy Fleming. That was a tremendous block.
Memphis has to be stronger against the run. We told you, first in college football, defending the run, 64 yards per game and just 2.5 yards per carry. But Tennessee has been better than that. They've doubled that margin. And here is Stevens trying to get outside. He does, and he is nailed at the 7-yard line. And if Marcus Smith doesn't make that tackle, Stevens scores.
But boys, Stevens got the credit for the run. Marcus Smith, great play. But behind the scenes, it was Troy Fleming at H-back. Again, terrific block on the other outside linebacker, Derek Ballard.
How about this? Memphis has not allowed a touchdown this year in the first quarter. Just 3 field goals. In Tennessee, they've been outscoring opponents by a tune of 58-13 early. Something's got to give. Second and goal for the true freshman Clausen. Stevens stays in. Stevens goes down, a loss of a yard. That's a heck of a play by Derek Ballard.
This is how Memphis does it. You'll get a few. Take a look at Ballard. He's going to be blocked by 87. That's the wide receiver, David Martin. And he really can't do that. Wide receivers don't line up against outside linebackers face up and block them very well. But it's that penetration that is the key to Memphis being the #1 defense against the rush. And we saw it again right there.
He just shook off that block like flies on a steer.
Like Sasquatch on a squirrel.
There you go.
For the other guy.
Third and goal. Martin in motion. Clausen gives it to Travis Henry, and he will get nothing. He is dropped for a 5-yard loss by Koot Terry. Third and goal. We were thinking pass, but Philip Fulmer wants the lead.
Well, Tennessee gets something going, and all of a sudden, take a look at Koot Terry. Look at the penetration he gets. Troy Fleming is trying to block him, but Terry is too far upfield, and Fleming has to readjust his blocking route too dramatically. That's how these guys do it. Look at this. Tennessee gets momentum, and then that momentum gets stuffed by 2 penetration plays.
Alex Walls, the only perfect kicker in college football. It is on the way, and he continues his perfection in the year 2000. 32 yards out. He has not missed an extra point or field goal this year. Tennessee takes a 3-0 lead on the Memphis Tigers. Yard line after the 11-yard punt when the ball slipped through the hands of Ben Graves, and he just barely was able to get it off, or it would have resulted in 7.
Well, what a play that was, though. The whole punt rush team was on top of him, but he found a little crease and he got it out of there.
And Alex Walls continues his perfection. Alex Walls has not missed this year. He's now kicked 16 in a row.
You got to knock on wood or bite your tongue when you say that, because you do not want to jinx him. So let me see you bite your tongue.
Well, the record is 18 in a row by Tennessee's Claude Reves back in 1984. 18, that's the jersey number of Alex Walls, and that is the record he is shooting to pass. Darshea Epting or Ryan Johnson. And they bring it out to the 17-yard line. Tomorrow we're bringing the tailgate party to you with NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net, the most raucous and rocking Sunday morning pregame show anywhere. Now a full 2 hours of pregame morning madness to get you ready for kickoff. Chris Myers leads the NFL This Morning breakfast bunch for Chalk Talk, Trash Talk, Bagels, Donuts, and even comedian Jay Moore returns to the mix. NFL This Morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on Fox Sports Net. Well, this is the 3rd time, Trevor, that Memphis has had miserable field position inside their own 20-yard line to start from. Scott Shear dumps it off, and they will gain about 3 on the throw to his tight end, Wade Smith. Only Smith's 4th catch this year.
You know what? That's okay, though. Most of the passing game for Memphis will be nakeds, bootlegs, sprint outs, that kind of thing, because of how good Tennessee's front 7 is at pressuring and sacking the quarterback. And it's okay just to get a 3 or 4 yard gain on a short pass. That's fine. Remember, they want to play this thing conservatively, but they will take some shots down the field that Tennessee might not be expecting.
Tennessee's defensive line has 15 sacks combined this year. Just their line. Shearer throws, and he almost had it picked off as he was trying to hit Trip Higgins over the middle. Flag is down, though.
Well, this play is one that they think will be open. This is a quick slant inside. Tennessee's defensive backs will play tight bump coverage, but then they won't bump you with the line. They play outside
Defense
leverage.
in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat the down.
Huge break for Memphis, but they expect the defensive backs to play on the line against the receivers, outside leverage, which means that the inside slant they expect to be open. That time they went to that route, it wasn't open.
It is 3 Memphis. Idris Bashir with the interception, and Memphis with some heavy hitting on Casey Clausen. First play at the Liberty Bowl, which holds 62,380. That 96 game drew the most ever, 65,885, and they're packed in again this afternoon. Tennessee with a 3-0 lead on a 32-yard field goal by Alex Walls, 2nd and 2. Shearer looking to throw. He will scramble, and he hammers his way forward.
He hammers his way?
You bet. It's a little hammer. It's a little ping hammer.
Little teeny hammer.
Albert Hainsworth at 310 pounds, outweighing him, almost doubling his weight. But here are the first quarter stats.
When you look at the rushing plays, out of 20 plays, you've got 15 for Tennessee on the ground, but they're only averaging about 1.5 yards per carry. So you're looking at a situation where they are trying to pound the ball, and they've gotten a few first downs because of some key passes, but Memphis's defense is doing what they want so far.
But they have only 4 yards rushing in that first quarter. Shearer to throw, completes the pass. Billy Kendall gets the first down.
Well, this is a good use of talent by Coach Rip Scheer. Billy Kendall, an outstanding tight end. He's got size, speed. The whole package makes it very difficult for linebackers to cover him. Now, you're going to see number 42, Eric Westmoreland, all over him in coverage. But Billy Kendall is so big that he uses his body to be able to make that reception. You'll see Billy Kendall catch a lot of passes today.
Seeing that clock wind down really helps Memphis because they need to keep their outstanding defense off the field. That is why they have suffered a little this year in the fourth period. Those guys are just so tired. So if Scheer can get long drives and continue to get first downs, that will help the defense as well.
Well, and that's another reason why Memphis doesn't feel like they need to score a lot of points to win this game. What they do need to do is let their defense rest. That's a critical part, Steve, in what you said. So if they get a couple of first downs and punt, that will be a successful offense. They expect to score maybe once on offense, maybe once on defense.
I think they need to score once on defense if they're going to have a chance against Tennessee, and Scheer does not like the way his team is lined up, and Tennessee showing blitz, so he will take a timeout. 13-14 remaining first half. Volunteers by 3. Tennessee with a 3-0 lead against the Memphis Tigers. Tigers love their football, but they are crazy about basketball. And in perhaps the most anticipated event in Memphis since the days of Elvis, the John Calipari era commenced Thursday night at the Pyramid against the Universal All-Stars. Calipari returned to college basketball coaching with a 77-61 victory. The Tigers were led by Kelly Wise with 20 points and 10 rebounds. And John has had a recruiting year that certainly is going to make him special in the year 2001-2002. This year, he's going to have some challenges. Great conference in Conference USA. And now, let's go back to Memphis football.
Boy, that was Tennessee defense football there. They completely stuffed that run.
Denise Wary was the man carrying the football, the junior from Munford, Tennessee.
It's a real key to the game that Memphis average at least 3 yards per carry to move the down and distance on third down closer to 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. And that time Tennessee had it all their way.
And this is where Scheer has not gone that often to straight drop back. He's been rolling right or rolling left. Right now they're showing just a 4-man rush. Scheer throws and the catch is made. Bunky Perkins diving forward and will get the first down. 6 yards. They needed 5 and Bunky got him one more.
We had Billy Kendall, the tight end, out there blocking for him, and if Kendall had just a corner of his man, that might have gone all the way. This is a quick screen outside to the wide receiver. Good call, very safe, and that's Willie Miles, that you can see number 88. Billy Kendall pushing out there, and Willie Miles does a good job against the big tight end. Right there, just enough.
From the 46-yard line, Memphis finally has good field position. Scheer to throw, and it is incomplete. Too low for Perkins. But remember, Tennessee has had an average starting field position of just the 12-yard line, while Tennessee's average has been their own 47. So a huge difference there. And that's why Memphis has to feel a little confidence, down only 3-0.
Well, a lot of confidence. And the biggest confidence builder for Memphis was when Tennessee got the ball after that punt snap went through Ben Graves' hands down around the 21-yard line, and they couldn't punch it in. Had to settle for a field goal. That was big for Memphis.
Sugar Sanders, not much. Dominique Stevenson and Eric Westmoreland really closed that hole quickly with the 2 inside backers.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed on that Tennessee defense. That's why you won't see Memphis running outside much. They don't want to try to beat him to the corner in a foot race. They want to try to find a crease inside. John Henderson that time stuffed up the middle, going against big Lou Esposito at right guard. Lou got into him pretty good, but couldn't get enough movement on him, and that made the pile that allowed everybody else to come around and support.
Gain of just 2. 3rd and 8. They're spreading everybody out. Here comes the blitz. Low snap. Scheer in trouble. Sacked back at the 40-yard line. Big John. There is a flag down.
Yeah, flags were down. I think the offensive line stopped blocking. Terrific blitz pickup on that time. They brought the safety
Dead
up.
ball, delay of game on the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
You know something? I think Memphis would much rather have that play than that penalty, because they picked up the blitz. They brought 7 guys, and when you bring 7 guys and pick them all up, then the quarterback has his choice of man coverage. That was unfortunate.
They'd rather have the penalty than the play.
Well, the penalty.
Now they have 3rd down again, and it's actually a gain of 4 after the sack of 10. They only have the 5-yard walk-off.
Well, it wouldn't have been a sack, though. Whistles were blowing at the snap because of the delay of game penalty.
Exactly. Blitz on, Shearer escapes. Scott past midfield. He dives to the 45, but he looks to be short of the first down, and another flag goes down.
Boy, Rip Shearer talked about Scott Shearer's mom up in the stands. Look who is chasing him down. This is a zone blitz. Big John Henderson backs up into coverage in the middle short zone, and when Shearer takes off to his right, Big John Henderson has him in his sights. This is Sasquatch chasing the squirrel, and he did catch him down at the sideline.
Face man on the defense, 5-yarder, first down.
Take a look at what Big John Henderson does. Now he's right here. He's going to step up, make sure it's not a run. Now he's in his own blitz, and when he sees Shearer take off, look at the speed of this guy, and look at little, tiny Scott Shearer, and he catches him. You know what? He's okay, Mom. That wasn't a bad face mask, and Henderson didn't land those 290 pounds on your son. He's all right.
That looked like a wind shear coming after Scott Shearer. Now from the 40, it is a first down for the Tigers. Shearer in trouble again and wide open. Billy Kendall. First down, Memphis inside the 25.
This is what you get when the coach's son is the quarterback. He knows that he's going to get drilled. Whether or not he completes the pass, he's going to get hit. So what he does is he goes to Billy Kendall out on this side. He's going to roll to his left, and then Billy Kendall is going to come right there, all the way across. And Shearer knows that he's going to be hurting no matter what he does. And he turns around and throws an excellent pass to Kendall on the backside.
Shearer goes back to the ground. Not much for Sugar Sanders. He muscles his way inside the 21. A gain of 2.5. It's an impressive drive.
Well, it's an impressive drive led by this young man. And really, this is the key for Memphis's offense if it boils down to one thing. Scott Shearer came to Memphis to be with his father, the head coach, Rip Shearer, because Scott wants to be a coach. He wanted to learn from his dad how to do it. He could have gone to play Ivy League football, been a quarterback at Harvard or Yale, who recruited him. But he wanted to be here, and it's the knowledge of the offense that gives him the greatest opportunity to challenge Tennessee's defense.
3-0. Tennessee with the lead, but Memphis trying to tie or take the lead. Tennessee leads 3-0, but bad news for the Volunteer defense. One of the best outside linebackers in Tennessee history and a starter in the '98 National Championship team, Eric Westmoreland, limping off the field.
He brings a lot of experience. In his place is the sophomore, Eddie Moore. They're very excited about Eddie Moore, number 37, but he's just a sophomore.
Meantime, 2nd and 8 for Memphis at the Tennessee 20-yard line, and flags go flying. They took too much time, and that is really unusual after a timeout.
Dead ball, movement on the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
That was a left tackle, Artis Hicks. One of that pair of tackles, DeCorey Hampton on the right side, Artis Hicks on the left. He rocked back in his stance just enough to get the officials' attention. That's big, Artis. Outstanding technique. This guy is a good technician at left tackle, and that's why he's successful out there.
Well, let's see if Scott has to go back to the air. Memphis now facing a 2nd and 13 from the 25 of Tennessee. Shearer going deep. He has a man open. Broken up, end zone, flag down. It's against the Volunteers. Ryan Johnson Johnson was open. Willie Miles closed quickly but ran right into Johnson.
Well, remember, Willie Miles had another long pass in the first quarter. Bunky Perkins he was covering. He looked back at the last second, and therefore it was not pass interference. This time, Willie Miles never looks back.
On the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And if you're a defensive back and you don't look back, at that point, incidental contact is pass interference. He wasn't playing the ball, he was playing the man, and that's why the call is made. That was a good acting job by Ryan Johnson, throwing both hands up in the air. I'm trying, ref, I'm trying. Look, he's all over me.
3 penalties for Philip Fulmer's team. Here is a guy who has never coached a Tennessee team with more than 4 losses. They went 8-4 in 1994, and this year's team very similar to that team. That's when Peyton Manning was a true freshman. Well, Casey Clausen is a true freshman this year. I told you about the red zone for Memphis. 13 touchdowns this season. Sanders trying to get outside, but he is wrapped up beautifully. Will Overstreet, one of the best defensive ends in the SEC.
And he does a good job of getting penetration. He gets off the ball quicker than Artis Hicks, a left tackle. And this is not easy to do because Artis Hicks is an outstanding left tackle. Take a look right here. They start with a double team, but look at the leverage that Overstreet has. And because of that, Hicks doesn't get any movement with that double team with the tight end. When the tight end comes off, Overstreet falls off the block.
Second down from the 10. Shear back to the air, dumps it off. Dernice Wary dives! Touchdown! Philip Fulmer's team is down to Memphis. 6-3, trying to make it 7-3. Ryan White. Perfect. And Memphis has their first lead. It comes with 9:15 remaining first half. When we return, we'll send you back to Kevin Frazier at our College Football Saturday studio with a preview of our Nissan halftime report. Really has developed into a fine game, and it continues to rain here in Memphis, Kevin. Real drizzle, but Scott Shearer with a touchdown pass to Dernice Wary, the backup running back.
Well, take a look at Artis Hicks, the left tackle. He's going to come out, and number 16 is the guy that he's going to end up blocking. That's Rashad Baker, the safety. Wary slips, the middle linebacker, Dominic Stevenson, right there. But it's Artis Hicks at the bottom of your screen that throws the final block on the last safety that springs Dernice Wary for that touchdown.
So Scott Shearer with his 3rd touchdown pass this year. And again, only 1 interception. They say he's been very efficient. For a sophomore, very smart, doesn't take chances where he can be hurt. So Memphis has the lead, and what a drive. 82 yards, 14 plays.
Boy, a 14-play drive against this defense. That is not easy to do, and give Scott Shearer all the credit.
6.5 minutes. That defense had time to rest. Now the kickoff to Tennessee. And Ryan White really smashes it through the end zone. We'll start from the 20. Tonight on Fox Sports Net College Football Saturday, we've got the rest of our college football tripleheader. First, Louisville battles with number 13 Southern Mississippi. Then number 20 Texas takes on Texas Tech in a Big 12 showdown. Make it a full day of college football right here on Fox Sports Net. Louisville Southern Miss game is going to be possibly for the Liberty Bowl. The Southern Miss 3-0 in conference play. Louisville only has 1 loss. They're 3-1. Casey Clausen stays in as the quarterback. Completes the pass to the 25-yard line. And here's the Conference USA standings. Southern Miss Louisville game is after hours. How about that? 6-2 versus 6-1. Liberty Bowl on the line.
You got Southern Miss's defense, one of the best in the nation, against Louisville's offense, which has become one of the best in the nation. Dave Ragone, a quarterback in replacement of Chris Redmond, who's off to the Baltimore Ravens now, has done what people thought he could not do as just a sophomore, and that is pick up where Redmond left off.
Did he ever? Gain of 5 for Tennessee, 2nd and 5. Blitz. They pick it up. Here goes Tennessee. First down and more to the 40-yard line. Dante Stallworth.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a dangerous play. That was inches away from going all the way. Take a look at left tackle. That's Reggie Coleman. He's going to go out and throw a block on number 44, Michael Stone. Stone's going to run it all the way around the block and just barely gets back in time to force Stallworth back into the interior pursuit. Stone went a long ways to run around that block of Coleman.
Dante goes to the sideline. He'll be replaced by Eric Parker. You see his per catch average this year. Lawson now looking right side, goes incomplete, and he had his man open. Cedric Wilson had about 2 yards on the defender, but Clausen trying to loop it, and this kind of wind and rain, that is difficult.
Well, Eric Parker was the deep receiver on that. He ran Marcus Smith, the deep corner on that side, way deep. And so there was a huge gap between the underneath zone and the deep zone again. But this time, Clausen wasn't able to loft the ball into the right spot. He had what he wanted, and they'll go back to that.
Tennessee stays I formation. Travis Henry, the running back. Travis gets the carry, and he'll lose a yard. Tony Brown, the defensive end from Chattanooga, on the tackle.
Well, you've got a collision up here with Bartholomew, number 45. He comes in and gets sort of stuffed in the hole, so Henry has to bounce outside. And once again, Tony Brown, with quickness on the defensive corner, comes in and makes that stop.
3rd and 11. Tennessee goes shotgun and split stop 3. Memphis showing blitz, and here they come. They rush 6. Clausen steps up. He will run, but not get the first down. Caught from behind by Kamal Shakir, the middle linebacker.
Well, Clausen's got good quickness, but not good enough quickness to beat this defense for that many yards to get the first down.
Great
Memphis
crowd on hand at the Liberty Bowl.
And they're proud of their defense now. They're doing very well against this Tennessee offense.
Memphis is Ryan Johnson standing back inside the 20. It is a poor punt that bounces out of bounds near the 24. The Tigers with a 7-3 lead over Tennessee. Kamal Shakir, one of the best linebackers in the country. He had 143 tackles last year, including 6 sacks, and in his career, tremendous numbers. The tackles behind the line of scrimmage, 10 career sacks, 344 tackles in a wonderful career.
And on this play, look at the speed, number 48. He comes from all the way across the field, and he has the presence of mind to swat at that ball while he's making the tackle. Tired him out, too.
Well, they're very quickly back in the sideline to Resh Shearer going for the home run. Bunky Perkins incomplete. Now that was some kind of coverage by Teddy Gaines.
That was outstanding coverage. And this is something that Tennessee is not expecting from Memphis. Memphis doesn't throw the ball down the field, but they thought they had a chance because of the man coverage against 2 cornerbacks that are starting for only the first time this year. There was a to-do. Bunky Perkins was walking back to the scene of a bit of a battle. Some of the offensive linemen and defensive linemen were going after each other as he was down the field trying to make that catch.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeats it down.
Well, now Shearer has a problem, because in dinking the ball, if it's 1st and 10, you can do it. If it's 1st and 20, it makes it very difficult to dink that ball down the field. You got to throw it deep and you got to complete it.
So once again, poor field position for Rip Scheer and his Memphis Tigers. Big hole, though, opens up for Sugar Sanders, and he muscles his way out to the 17-yard line, where Lou Esposito threw a good block that time.
And Jamon Pugh at center just does a fabulous job. Opens up that hole for Sanders. There's Jamon Pugh. He came from Florida A&M. He was a scholarship center there. His father worked for the government, was transferred to Memphis, so he elected to be with his family. He walked into Rip Scheer's office out of the blue and said, "I want to play for you," and he has been a difference maker on the line.
3rd and 15. Tennessee just showing a 4-man rush. They bring a linebacker late. Scott Scheer in trouble. Sacked back at the 8-yard line. I think his pop would like to see him get rid of that football a little sooner.
Well, they're testing those cornerbacks of Tennessee. Willie Miles back down the field covering Trip Higgins man for man, and Scott Scheer wanted Trip Higgins, but once again Miles has had outstanding coverage. He had that one pass interference penalty, but other than that he has been up to the challenge that Memphis has thrown his way. So has Teddy Gaines on the other corner.
And Tennessee, who leads the Southeastern Conference in sacks with 31, that was their first. 32 now on the year. 3rd and really long. Scott scrambling with room. Smart play by Scheer. Even though he will not get the first down, he gets them out of a difficult field position.
That might have been a smart play on his part, but listen to this hit. He just gets drilled here. This is one that Dad knows that football players take, but Mom is not going to like this. Oh, man.
Ow.
That's
Rashad Baker. You know, he was the kid who was such a fabulous wide receiver, but he's such a great athlete. They just want him on the field as often as possible. That's why he's out there also for special teams.
But I'll tell you this, Mom, when you hear the plastic pads hit like that, that means the pad hit pad, not ribs, so that's good.
Here comes Baker inside the 45 to the 42-yard line. Tomorrow on America's favorite pregame show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris are joined by weather girl Jillian Barbary, who tells you where it's hot and where it's not. Plus, our sarcastic sage, Jimmy Kimmel, makes his picks and gets in his licks on the boys. It's all part of the wildest NFL pregame show on TV. Fox NFL Sunday tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Fox. 7-3. Memphis leading Tennessee. Clausen back to the air and completes the pass to Cedric Wilson. His favorite target, came in with 41 catches. But Cedric, who came in with a per catch average in his career of 15, only 9.5 this year. Trevor, is that because of the youth at quarterback, losing Peyton Manning and T. Martin?
Yeah, and Clausen is the 3rd quarterback to start for Tennessee this year so far, this being the 8th game of the year. Also, such a young offensive line. Reggie Coleman, the left tackle, has a total of 8 starts in his life in college football. He's the most experienced offensive lineman. You combine that, it's tough for the receivers to catch the ball down the field.
Tennessee lost a real leader in Fred Weary, their offensive guard, who had the most experience. Clausen back to the air. David Martin with the catch. Memphis said he juggled it. What's the call? The linesman couldn't look through David Martin's back to make sure he didn't trap it.
Well, you got 3-1 there, and in the election season, you've got 3 votes for no, 1 vote for yes. The only one that counts, though, is the official.
.350 to play, first half.
And Joe, keep in mind that it is slick down there. There's a very slight drizzle, and there's a sheen of water on the ground and on the football and on the hands of the players.
3rd and 4. Motion Dante Stallworth. Clausen. Incomplete.
But Clausen found the hole in the zone and put the ball right where he had to put it. But as soon as his receiver had that ball get into him, he was sandwiched by 2 players, one from the left and one from the right. And Joel, again, this is sort of the rope-a-dope strategy, where if you don't let them get a big play, you talked about Tennessee's wide receivers not having a big yards per catch average. If you make them dink it down the field, then you get them into a situation like this.
Clausen goes back to the phone. He tries to escape the Memphis defense, one of the best in the country. The lead, Tennessee with the football on 4th down. They are going for it. Clausen, shotgun. Casey downfield. Completes the pass for the first down to the 28-yard line.
Boy, Clausen just drilled it into David Martin. David Martin, you got to figure he's 6'4", 215 pounds. He's a Randy Moss type body. And Clausen just steps up with authority and fires that ball in there. Terrific throw and terrific catch by the big wide receiver. We just stopped. Good coverage, too.
And I like the guts of Philip Fulmer going for it on 4th down.
Oh, my.
Oh,
Marcus
the defense
Bell.
there this time.
Marcus Bell.
The senior from Memphis. You were talking about how quick he was in his first 2 steps. We saw it explode from that defensive line.
Well, Fred Weary, guard last year, center this year, went out with an ankle injury. Scott Wells took his place at center. He's just a freshman. He's going to be a good one. But Marcus Bell came right across his face at that time. And Marcus Bell told us yesterday that, you know, I'm a senior. I am not going to let some freshman have the better of me.
He did in that time. Now on 2nd down, 15 yards to go. Clausen backing up. Tried to dump it off, but really did the wise thing. He threw it into the feet of his offensive back because there was nothing but blue jerseys around him.
You know why? It was Marcus Bell. That time, Marcus Bell read the screen, sniffed it out, aborted his pass rush, and went out there and was one of the guys that was in the road to break up that screen. Philip Fulmer, head coach, you know, you mentioned that you like that 4th down call. I like that 4th down call, too. He's saying, fellas, look, we want to be a bowl team this year. We want to be a championship-type team, and we have got to go out there and assert ourselves. And I like the hard-nosed approach that Philip Fulmer takes to this football game.
3rd and 15. They've converted 3 of their 7 third downs. 3 of 3. They're 0-4 since. Clausen, left side. Out at the 22-yard line by Cedric Wilson. They'll still need about another 4 for a first down.
Well, Cedric Wilson, the best wide receiver on the field, going against Michael Stone, the best cornerback on the field. And that was a clinic in technique on both of their parts, and the quarterback. We talked about how the quarterback needs to know when to throw the ball when the receiver comes open in his route. The ball was thrown that time by Clausen as he came out of his break and came back to the ball. That's why he was open for a split second. That was just a tremendous play by everybody.
The perfect kicker on the field. Alex Walls, number 19. 14 of 14 field goal attempts this year. He hammers that one up and no good. His first miss of 2000 from 38 yards out.
Steve, I'm telling you, when you said he was perfect before, you should have knocked on wood or bit your tongue.
No, that's not true in baseball either.
It's not?
We have no impact on the game.
You mean I have been duped this whole time?
Yes.
Into thinking that was true?
We have to give the facts.
That's a disappointed young man because what a streak he had going on. What a streak he had. He was perfect this year. Good snap, good hold. Looks like he just pulls it a bit. That was so close.
Now Memphis with the football. But I'll tell you, this Tennessee team reminds me a lot of the 1994 team that went 8-4. Remember how they started? They started 3-4, then they won their last 5. Peyton Manning was a true freshman. Casey Clausen's a true freshman. They had a good offensive line and running back that year, James Stewart. They had a young quarterback and wide receiver. This football team has a young quarterback and very talented wide receivers, but a very young offensive line. They are growing up together. Sugar Sanders busting outside. Sugar Sanders first down to midfield.
Well, this just a corner. Number 74, Trey Erie, the left guard, or a counter, is going to come out. And Sugar's just going to break it out to the outside after going in. The Tennessee defense reads the counter. Sugar starts up inside, but then when he bounces it out, he finds that all the Volunteers have gone inside to stop the counter. That's being too smart by half on Tennessee's part.
24 yards in the run, 1st and 10 at their own 48. They'll spread out 4 receivers, 3 left side. Shearer, ooh, that's dangerous. And was it read well by Eddie Moore, intended for Bunky Perkins.
Well, Eddie Moore, the backup linebacker in for All-America candidate Eric Westmoreland. He saw that screen develop, and he knew that if he didn't get the Bunky fast, the linemen were going to obliterate him. And so he went forward and very aggressively broke that thing up.
Shearer gets a new play from Ryan Johnson, his wide receiver. Perkins this time will go to the right. Johnson to the left. Al Sermon is in the slot. 2nd and 10. Shearer all kinds of time, dumps it out for Sugar Sanders. It is incomplete. And we've got our Nissan halftime report to give you scores and updates from around college football. We'll be talking about Virginia Tech's meeting against Miami as number 2 go against number 3, and Ohio State in action. The Buckeyes, they're trying to force some problems throughout that Big Ten conference. Meantime, Memphis just 2 of 6 converting 3rd downs, and it is 3rd and long, 10 yards. Tennessee showing blitz. It comes from both sides. Shearer steps up. 2nd sack by the Volunteers. Dominique Stevenson was blitzing. John Henderson also there.
Well, everybody comes through. Take a look here. Take a look here. You're going to see defensive linemen. You're going to see Stevenson come in. And Shearer is just trying to think, hey, if I could just get away from one of these guys. But there were 3 there. Big John Henderson finishes it up. That they lead the Southeastern Conference in sacks. One of the reasons, Steve, is that they are so relentless. Each one of the guys that blitzes, each one of the down guys that rush is relentless in their leg drive.
That was their 33rd sack this year. Next week, it's a Big 12 showdown on Fox Sports Net. College football Saturday. Heisman Trophy candidate Eric Crouch leads Nebraska against conference rival Kansas State with a trip to the Big 12 championship game at stake and national title hopes on the line. Number 5 Nebraska versus number 19 Kansas State, plus other action beginning with the college football pregame show at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific next Saturday on Fox Sports Net. You look at Nebraska and Kansas State, their conference records 4-1, Kansas State at 3-2. If Nebraska beats Kansas State, there's a great chance that the Cornhuskers could face Oklahoma again in KC in that championship game. Here's the punt, almost blocked. Low line drive. Rashad Baker fumbles. There is a flag down. Memphis recovers the fumble, but wait for the flag.
Well, while we're waiting for that flag, Steve, look at what we've got here. 11 seconds to go at the half. Memphis, big underdogs. 7-3 lead.
On the receiving team, penalty is declined. First down on the recovery of the fumble.
And we've got a smash mouth game going on here. And it's Memphis that has made the plays, not Tennessee to this point. Well, that was Nick Satsaronis that pulled that out. Check that. That's 47, Aaron Meadows. He made a tremendous play. I want to make sure I know his family's watching this. I want to make sure he gets his credit. Aaron Meadows, tremendous job to strip that ball.
And Tennessee -2 in turnovers in Memphis. When they have won their 4 games this year, they've always been plus in that department. The catch is made at the 25-yard line by Billy Kendall, his second grab of the day. You saw them split out Billy Kendall at practice this week.
They split him out. This is what we talked about, the key to the game for the defense to get lined up right. They've got to recognize when Billy Kendall lines up to the outside and get to be standing in the right place before the snap.
You'll see that in their 4 wins. They are +7, 4 losses -4. Today, they have forced a turnover on special teams play. They've also picked up a pass by Idris Bashir on a long drive by Tennessee on their first possession. Oh, Willie Miles now limping off. That's the left side where Eric Westmoreland, outside linebacker, has already left because of an injury. And now Willie Miles, their left cornerback.
And this is a blow because Willie Miles, along with Teddy Gaines on the other side, are starting for the first time in their careers this year. And they struggled early. They've been coming on later. And now they've got to start another guy who's never started there.
Well, Ryan White is one of college football's best kickers. Wright, 10 of 16 on his field goal attempts this year. Look at that, 5 of his 6 misses have been because of blocks. Tennessee really big on that front line. From 43, on the way. Good. And Memphis has taken a 7-point lead over SEC Power. Tennessee in the first half. Ryan White, All-American kicking candidate for Memphis State, gives the Tigers a 10-3 lead over Tennessee. Right now, let's go to Kevin Frazier at our Nissan halftime report.
The Memphis Tigers have a 10 fresh when they come back out to face that big Tennessee offensive line.
And here we go. Memphis again won the coin toss to begin the ball game, deferred to the second half, so they will get it first with a 7-point lead, and calling for the fair catch is Memphis at the 30-yard line. Memphis in the first half, the first time they had the football, they had to punt it after 6 plays, and then they were quickly 3 and out. They scored on that long 82-yard drive in 14 plays, 2 more punts, and then the field goal that resulted because of a fumble by Rashad Baker on a punt return. Scott Shear stays in at quarterback, 5'9", 180-pound redshirt sophomore from Collierville, Tennessee, has led the team well. And this is Sugar Sanders pushing for about 3 yards, where it'll be 2nd down and 7. And Sanders averaged almost 5 yards a carry in the first half.
Flow of the game allows you to continue to go for opportunities. You'll find opportunities to break out like Sanders did on that one big run.
3 wide to the right side on 2nd down and 8. Shearer rolls away from the pressure, dumps it off, incomplete at the 35-yard line. Very good coverage from Teddy Gaines and also the outside linebacker Anthony Sessions.
Well, right now the game plan for Memphis's offense is very, very simple. We talked about, Steve, early in the game, the offense did not need to go light up the scoreboard. They needed to not make the big mistake to allow the defense to win the game for him. Scott Shear, 8 for 14, 73 yards. The key stat is no interceptions. That's the key. And so right now, 3rd and 8. It's okay if they punt this ball away as long as they don't turn it over.
Well, they're spreading everybody out, 3 wide to the right side, so single coverage there. Shear rolls that way, has to dump it off because he had 4 white jerseys in his face, led by Eric Westmoreland, the outside backer, and Anthony Sessions.
And you can see him limping. He's been hit hard by this Tennessee defense. He's got the whole defense coming in on this sprint. The offensive line, they're sort of jogging over there. They've got to realize that even though it's a sprint out, they've got to hold those blocks as long as they can.
Now Ben Graves. Running to Rashad Baker, whose punt led to the last 3 points. Baker takes it at the 30. Nice spin move. And Rashad is hammered down at the 29, a punt of 38 yards, but the great plus about it, -1 on the return. How about Tennessee's first half possessions? They drove down the field 52 yards, but then Casey Clausen was intercepted at the 8-yard line of Memphis. Second drive, they punted, then the field goal, a punt, a missed field goal. And here we go, as Tennessee has it for the first time in the second half. Last year, Volunteers won late, 17-16. Clausen stays in as the quarterback. Casey will give it to Travis Henry, and Kamal Shakir is there to hit him, knock him down after a 4-yard gain. But Trevor, how quickly, if you're Philip Fulmer, you've got 3 young quarterbacks, would you make a change?
Well, you can't really make a quarterback change here. You've got the true freshman, Casey Clausen. They're not moving the ball well, but behind him is a redshirt freshman, A.J. Suggs. Clausen has the bigger arm between the two of them to stretch the field better. And then at third, Joey Matthews is the quarterback who started the season, has got injured in the week before the Florida game, and he hasn't played since. And so really, you've got to stay with Clausen at this point and live or die with the true freshman.
Again, Memphis is there. Again, first against the rush in college football, only allowing 64 yards a game. They have now 20 carries for 22 yards.
Marcus Bell, the penetration that he gets comes unblocked into the backfield. And look at the way he grabbed both of his legs. He wanted to make sure that that wasn't just a hit and a tackle in the backfield. Wanted to make sure that that was an equilibrium disrupting hit and tackle.
He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Week last week, running for 115 yards. 5 on 11 rushes this week. The screen set up, and look at that! Oh, what a hit by Marcus Smith.
Well, Joel, this is film study. They know that in this kind of a situation, Tennessee will go to a screen. And let's listen to the hit that Marcus Smith lays on him. That's film study. That's knowing that that was the most likely play to be called in that situation.
4th down and long. Tennessee was rushing the punter. And Tennessee will cover it at the 28-yard line. A big break for the Volunteers.
Well, Joel, we talked about this game turning on mistakes. The big guys in the middle battling it out, nobody getting an advantage over the other. And then it's the mistakes. Keep in mind how wet it is down there. It's very slick and very cold. Not very windy, but it's slick enough that that ball goes out of the hands of Ryan Johnson. And now Tennessee has the opportunity to capitalize on a Memphis mistake.
So now Volunteers, big break, 26-yard line. Travis Henry goes short side, and he will gain 2 to the 24-yard line.
And Joel, Steve, there's 2 things that happen here because of that turnover. One is that the defense of Memphis has got to go right back onto the field after doing their job and getting Tennessee off the field. They're back on the field, having to play again. The second is corollary to that, and that is Travis Henry has the opportunity to continue to bludgeon his way in there, and it's the 4th quarter that Travis Henry is the most successful.
2nd down. Volunteers need 8. Clausen under pressure, dumps it off to his fullback Bartholomew. He is down to the 20-yard line. A gain of about 3.5. Still needs about 4 more for a first down.
This is going deep into the playbook. Deep into the playbook. They're throwing screens to wide receivers, screens to running back. That time, they ran a typical naked bootleg, but instead of throwing to the tight end like you usually do, they threw to the fullback, which is a different wrinkle. I mean, they're going way far into the playbook to try to find something that'll give them some continuity against this Memphis defense.
3rd and a long 3 for Tennessee. Volunteers came in 4th place in the East in the SEC. Clausen has been efficient, but 1 critical interception. Now he will take timeout with 10.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. Memphis with the lead, 10-3 over the Volunteers. Buick and your local Buick dealers. Isn't it time for a real car? a look at the South and the University of Memphis. The Tigers with a 10-3 lead over the Tennessee Volunteers. 10.5 minutes left, and Tennessee with a third down and a long 3 to go. Clausen will go under center. He has a man wide left. In motion, Cedric Wilson. The give to Henry. Henry bulling towards the 16. He needed to get to the 16-yard line. It looks like he's a yard shy. So decision time here. Do you go to Alex Walls, who's only missed one field goal this year, but it is in this game in very poor weather?
You know what I'm thinking if I'm Fulmer is his offense has not been successful in sustaining drives. And I'm thinking, as close as you are now, you might not get this close ever again. This is after a turnover on special teams. That's why the field position is so good. You've got to make lemonade right now.
4th and 1. Heavy load offense, double tight end. And timeout called. 9:44 left in the third quarter. The Tigers by 7. A crowd of 63,121 here at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. And Casey Clausen, the 18-year-old true freshman from Northridge, California, facing a 4th down and 1 against a powerful Memphis defense. Travis Henry is there. He surges forward and gets the first down. Memphis says they pull the ball away, but I believe the officials already blew the whistles and the play is dead.
Well, Henry was stopped. Forward progress was stopped. Whether or not his knee hit the ground, they blew the whistle. They line up both fullbacks on the left side. Troy Fleming, number 27. Will Bartholomew, number 45. Those guys collapse that line down. Now let's take a look at that. Ball comes out. Yep, that ball comes out, but they called forward progress stop. That's a good call by the official. His journey was definitely over. Well, that's some hitting in there, but they're holding him up. And you can't just hold the guy up indefinitely until you strip the ball. When he stops, you blow the whistle.
Clausen, play action. Dumps it off to the 8-yard line. Will Bartholomew, who has 4 catches in this game. Hey, let's go back to that 4th and 1, and let's listen for the whistle.
Well, listen for when it occurs, at what point. Whoa, that was after. The ball came out. The ball came out before those whistles blew. Now, what we've got to assume is that a lone official blew his single whistle that we couldn't hear there, and then all the rest of them joined in. That is the most likely scenario there.
Wasn't there a controversial play that cost Memphis last year in their 17-16 loss to Tennessee? Henry trying to run the football, gets inside the 10-yard line to the 8, where he is again stuffed by that defensive line led by Tony Brown.
I'm impressed with the poise of this offense, though. You've got the young offensive line, very few starts between them total. You've got the true freshman starting only his 3rd game at quarterback. And they're running into a defense that they're finding is deserving of their number 1 ranking against the run, number 3 overall total defense in the nation. And yet they're still down there, still plugging away in a hostile stadium. And I'm impressed with how Casey Clausen is managing this game with so many young players in such a hostile situation.
There is a flag down.
Well, illegal substitution. They might have had too many guys in the huddle. You can't huddle up with 12 guys and then break it.
So instead of 3rd down and 4, it is now 3rd down and 9.
And that's a very big deal because 3rd down and 4 is a running down potentially. It also gives the quarterback the potential to scramble for it. 3rd and 9, Casey Clausen, he's quick, but he's not that quick against this defense. This will have to be a throw.
David Martin goes wide to the left side. He is their big target at 6'4", 215.
It's pure man, too. Man coverage all the way.
Wilson on the right side. Clausen going that way. And it is broken up in the end zone by the Tigers. Cedric Wilson, the intended receiver. Glenn Sumter, the strong safety, helped out. And boy, did the sophomore from Detroit make a big play.
Well, Idris Bashir is the free safety. He was man coverage, and Sumter, being the only guy back there to play center field, knows that if there's one guy that's going to need help from the center fielder, the safety in the very back, it's going to be the safety on the wide receiver, not the corners on the other side. And so he looked to that side right from the start. Very heady play by Sumter.
Alex Walls from 30 yards out, up, and good. And Tennessee is within 4 of Memphis. 10-6 ball game. Alex Walls, only one missed field goal this year. This from 30, perfect. Tennessee within 4 of Memphis is beginning to look a lot like last year's game, 107,621. And Memphis would see Tennessee take the early lead on a 69-yard punt return by Eric Parker. But Memphis would stay close all afternoon long. An 82-yard pass from Neil Suber to Ken Payne tied the score at 10. Ryan White then would kick a couple of field goals, and T. Martin would take his team 78 yards and throw 15 yards to Cedric Wilson. With 1 minute to play, Volunteers would win it 17-16, and Philip Fulmer always reminds his club of that 78-yard drive in 7 plays that brought them back. And Tennessee would go 9-3 last year, 6-2 in conference play before playing Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl. There's a flag down after the kickoff.
Kick out of bounds by the kicking team. The ball will be taken out at the 35-yard line. First down, University of Memphis.
.14 remaining. And Rip Shearer, who's in his 5th year, he has a football team that has so much youth at some of the skill positions, like Sugar Sanders, a sophomore, Scott Shearer, his son, the quarterback, a sophomore. And Shearer will go to Sanders, and Sanders rips for about 5, 6, 7 yards out past the 41-yard line. Eric Westmoreland on the tackle.
Well, Henderson has been a force, but he's not been dominant. Take a look at what Lou Esposito, number 76, and DeCorey Hampton do to him. That's a man and a half that we talked about beginning of the game. They start with a double team, and then one guy comes off. And there's Big Lou in the very back. Looking at the guy, he just did a good job blocking. Now, Henderson has not been getting dominated in there, but he has not been allowed to dominate games like he normally does.
Sanders again, this time a very short gain, maybe just 1 yard. It'll be 3rd down and short. Sessions on the tackle. Big John Henderson came with 49 tackles, but 8 of them were sacks.
Well, he's so disruptive. He's able to stuff a blocker and throw him to the ground and shed the block and then run and be disruptive in the opponent's backfield. And Lou Esposito has not allowed him to be disruptive in that way. He's been just a normal, good defensive tackle today.
Wade Smith now goes in motion. 3rd down and 2. Shearer to throw, and it is incomplete at the 50-yard line. Intended for Ryan Johnson.
Well, if you want to get really technical on this, Steve, if this ball were thrown lower, down around his shins, the defensive back would not have been able to come over the top and bat it away. But that's getting really picky. Scott Shearer has done a nice job managing this game so far.
You know, you're a very technical, picky person, aren't you?
I am picky, and I'm not very nice. No, I'm kidding. That's just one of those things that when they look at the film, that's what the coach will say. Next time, throw that ball lower.
Now the punt. Rashad Baker has a chance to return, but lets it go. There is a flag down on the play near the 35-yard line. Memphis fills the football at the 14. And I thought Baker might have been able to pick up that football and gain at least 5 yards and keep them out of poor field position.
Yeah, although, you know, it's not big plays that have been the difference in this game in the 4-point Tiger lead. It has been bad plays. Both sides have capitalized from their opponent's mistakes more than both sides making their own good things happen. And so if you've got a choice between trying to make something great happen that's risky, you're better off not taking the risk the way this game is going.
Holding on the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal, first down, Tennessee.
So the Volunteers back up even farther. They are down by 4 points, 10-6, with 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Both teams have done a remarkable job defensively. Offensively has been another story, but both teams' strength this year has been on the defensive side of the ball. Memphis, third-rated overall defensively in the country. First against the run. Tennessee first or fourth against the run defensively. Now it's at the 7-yard line. Casey Clausen gives it to his running back. Henry leaps to the 10. Or was that Travis Stevens? Travis Stevens, excuse me. Out of Clarksville, Tennessee on the carry.
Kamal Shakir this time expects it to be a run to that side. The way his feet are set up, look at his feet. He can't go that way. He's got to step this way. And he does because he knows that by that formation, that's where they're going. Now he gets hit by his own man, Andre Arnold, but that's good preparation. I mean, this Memphis defense is very well coached.
Stay up the middle, and they're out of trouble now with a first down by Travis Stevens. Well, they've gone away from Travis Henry, who is only averaging a half yard per carry. Now Stevens with 2 good runs.
Well, you talk about good coaching. This time they start to the right, come back to the left. Look what happens to Shakir. He starts here, the back comes back this way, where Shakir used to be. That's really good coaching on that spot. Both sides.
First down from the 20-yard line. Clausen completes the pass. Cedric Wilson or Dante Stallworth. Stallworth to the 20-yard line. A gain of 60.
Well, this is what they expect from Casey Clausen, especially as the years go on. He's just a true freshman, but he has got a gun. He's got an arm, and he's got command, presence, and leadership. The players believe in him. And here, he drops back and throws this ball into the perfect hole of the zone. Marcus Smith, the underneath guy, number 21, was in good position. There wasn't much room for that ball to get in. Terrific throw by Casey Clausen.
Now from the 20, Clausen back to the air, downfield, caught, down to the 1-yard line, David Martin, 19 yards, and Clausen back-to-back with beautiful throws.
And Joel, Steve, we talked about coaching. Tennessee has not, in the first half, thrown the ball down the field. They haven't really even attempted it. Now all of a sudden, here they come out in the third quarter, and they throw 2 big, long pass plays to get them down inside the 1-yard line. That's a third quarter adjustment coming out of halftime.
First and goal from the 1. Stevens stays in the game as the I-back. Stevens leaps the top. Touchdown, Tennessee.
That was just terrific play calling by Tennessee's offensive brain trust. And Casey Clausen, for all the struggles of the first half, comes back out and stands and delivers that ball like nothing ever happened.
Now for the point after touchdown. Volunteers are back in front. It's Memphis's turn. Philip Fulmer with a congratulations to his offense, led by Travis Stevens on the 1-yard run. Tennessee with a 13-10 lead. Philip Fulmer, he sees his young true freshman throw a pass for 60 yards, another for 19. He looked like a senior, and like you said, he would stay with the kid from Northridge, California.
Well, he's got the big arm, and he's the one that gives them the best opportunity to defeat this defense. Note that when they tried to nickel and dime it down the field, what happened? Nothing. No touchdowns. When they started in the third quarter to change the scheme, throw it down the field, they were able to get big chunks, and what a tremendous difference that halftime adjustment made.
Trevor, you also said that Memphis needed to score on a special teams play or a defensive play. They've had turnovers that have led to scores, but this special teams play is special by Tennessee. Let's go to our College Football Saturday studio for a game break with Kevin Frazier.
Guys, close game in Memphis, no contest down in Miami. We told you at the half that the Hurricanes led Virginia Tech 21-0. Well, the Brown machine continues to roll. Najee Davenport, 50-yard run. Looks like we'll be down to 2 unbeatens very soon.
Wow. Michael Vick, he had that sprained ankle. I'm not sure if he's playing in that game or if they will try and get him going. But here it is, Tennessee 13-10 over Memphis, and a drizzle that has been carrying on all afternoon long, and now Tennessee's pressure continues. There come the Volunteers. Anthony Sessions on the blitz.
Well, terrific play. Wade Smith blocked him on the bootleg. And then Wade Smith releases. Anthony Sessions closes to the quarterback, and there's nowhere to throw the ball because Wade Smith is covered.
That is a third sack by Tennessee this afternoon. They lead the SEC now with 34 sacks. Great defense, young improving offense for the Volunteers. Showing blitz again. Shearer hands off. Sanders will only get a few outside the 10-yard line to the 11.
Well, this is about all you can do when you're blocking John Henderson. Jamon Pugh, the center, does a good job for a little while, but when you're all by yourself, this is about all you can do. Now, take a look at these two guys. The center, Jamon Pugh, and then number 98, John Henderson. Pugh is staying on him as best he can. Sanders cuts back the other way, but really when you're single blocking John Henderson, that's about all you can get accomplished.
Third and plenty. 17. Volunteers dominating in the third quarter. Blitz. Shearer dumps it off. They'll lose another yard. Oh, the Tennessee defense has been spectacular since the break, and Shearer is now limping off.
He's taking a lot of blows today. There's a big difference in the way that the Tennessee defense is playing now, and it's because they now have the lead. They've trailed for most of the first half and into the third quarter. Now that they have got the lead, they can dictate because they know that this is a big lead against such a conservative offense.
And Tennessee has always been a team that just gets better as the season progresses. The punt to the 41. Baker wrapped up, but great field position for Tennessee. Tomorrow on America's favorite pregame show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris are joined by weather girl Jillian Barberie, who tells you what the weather's going to be like for your football game. Plus our sarcastic sage, Jimmy Kimmel, makes his picks and gets in his licks on the guys. It's all part of the wildest NFL pregame show on TV. Fox NFL Sunday tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Fox. Wow. 2:37. Tennessee trying to deliver a knockout blow on the Memphis Tigers. Clausen, play action. Wanted to go deep. Now he does. Almost to a spectacular catch at the 10-yard line. Eric Parker.
And Parker was open. Clausen had him down there, and boy, had he completed that pass, that would have been such a big boost to the momentum that they've already got. This game has totally changed. You can feel Memphis all over Tennessee in the first half and at the beginning of the third quarter, but those two big pass plays by Casey Clausen on that last drive have taken all the air out of momentum out of Memphis's sails.
Clausen has been intercepted only once, and that was on the first drive of the game for the Volunteers. Now Stevens running, and they've got Travis in there, the other Travis, Stevens, and he's been very successful on the last two drives, and a Tiger is down in the field.
A lot of guys got chopped down with chop blocks out there, legal chop blocks. But guys getting cut, that's Glenn Sumter. Strong safety. Take a look as they come to you, how many blockers go down and how many blue jerseys end up on the ground as they go through here. That's a nice tackle, but there's a lot of defenders on the ground as he rounds that corner.
So Sumter now rolling over. He is a valuable young man and likely would be replaced by Fred Powell, who is a senior. Let's see how he gets a knee to his head and got a little silly.
Yeah, my goodness gracious. And a knee to the side of the head. Steve, what happens there is that a helmet is designed so that it's got its best protection in the front, in the forehead and the face mask. On the side, where your head is the softest, the temple, the helmet doesn't have as much padding and protection. And when you take a knee to the side of the head there, it can knock you loopy.
It's like Deacon Jones' old head slap.
That was back with leather helmets.
Yeah. Well, no, wait a second. Deacon didn't go back to leather helmet day.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
No, he's not that old.
He's not?
No, he's still with us.
Is he? He looks pretty old.
No, he's...
I read about him in a book. I mean, doesn't that mean he's old?
He's the greatest defensive end of all time. Just ask him.
Okay, it's not leather helmets then.
13-10, Tennessee leading with 3 minutes or 2 minutes and 17 seconds. A first down for the Volunteers. Clausen stays with Travis Stevens, and he is beginning to rip off some yardage. He's got the fresh legs, and here's a kid from Clarksville, Tennessee, that has been waiting his turn because of Henry in front of him.
He's been very patient, and he's a different back than Henry. He's not quite as strong inside, but he's shiftier, he's quicker, and you've seen him gain his best yards in this drive to the outside, off tackle, off tight end, and then bouncing it around to the end. 4.2 yards per carry from Travis Stevens. Keep in mind that before this drive began, Tennessee was averaging about 1.2 yards per carry as a team.
Second down. Stevens again attacking the middle, this time going right over the center. Scott Wells, a redshirt freshman from Spring Hill, Tennessee, whose future they really like.
Well, right now, Tennessee has got what they want. They've got the lead, they've got field position, and they've got the patience to be able to pound the ball. Their offensive line is young, but they're big. And Philip Fulmer wants these guys to have the time to be able to lean on Memphis's defense so that in the fourth quarter, the running game can open up. That's why you stay with it when you're averaging 1.2 yards per carry. You're hoping it'll open up in the fourth quarter, and you can only do that if the score is close or you're ahead.
Tennessee converted their first third down conversions, and they have been empty since. But Clausen will get him a first down here to the 14-yard line on the scramble.
Well, that's leadership. One thing that Clausen does is he doesn't always know everything to do. He's only a true freshman, but he is such a charismatic leader that he makes the team believe that he knows exactly what he's doing at all times. And that's more important than actually knowing what you're doing, I think.
Well, you know, as a 13-year-old, he went to a UCLA game because he's from Northridge. His dad took him down on the field, and they walked him over to the UCLA sideline so he could meet the team as they played Tennessee. He kept on walking because he wanted to watch a freshman by the name of Peyton Manning warm up. Fell in love with Tennessee, and now he is a Volunteer. You've got flags all over the place, and then a mean hit by Memphis. Just calm down, fellas.
Oh, Shakir. Well, Clausen wanted to play quarterback. That's all he ever wanted to do. His dad, being a coach at Cal State, Northridge, other places. Casey would hang with the team, always with the quarterbacks. He'd travel with the team as a boy. He'd hang at the back of the bus with the quarterbacks. That's all he ever wanted to do was play quarterback. And he just sort of stops, and here comes Shakir. Ooh. Yep, that
dead ball. Delay of game on the offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
You know something? I thought that could have been 15 on Kamal Shakir. Instead, they turn around and go 5 back the other way. That is an interesting call.
Well, I never saw a flag be thrown when the quarterback Clausen was hit by Shakir. The flag came early, and they were blowing the whistle, so the play was dead. If they wanted to call a personal foul, that was not going to come.
Well, delay of game was called because the team kept on rallying around their quarterback there, but that delayed the game. They didn't go back and huddle up.
3 wide right side. Stevens remains the setback. Did they have enough on the line of scrimmage? Nope. That is the end of the third quarter. When we come back, first down, 15 yards to go for Tennessee, who takes the lead. Cedric Wilson with a catch. A big play by the Memphis defense. And Travis Stevens would score a 1-yard touchdown and give the Volunteers a 13-10 advantage. Here at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, Tigers hanging in there, but down 13-10. The Volunteers were trying to really push themselves up as they begin the fourth quarter. First down, 15 yards to go. But this has been a fourth quarter fade for Memphis all year long.
Well, it's been tough for them because their offense has been so conservative that they've been on the field an awful lot. In this game, their offense has not done that in the first half. In the third quarter, the offense let the defense down.
Clausen almost had it picked off. Tony Brown was in his way, and Brown at 6'3" knocks it down. 2nd and 15. Through 3. Look at the rushing yardage by both teams. 70 and 64, more than we expected. But the passing down from Memphis, 73.
Well, what's killer here is look at total yards and time of possession. These were almost identical at halftime. After 3 quarters, Tennessee's dominating those stats.
From the 19, Clausen has completed 13 of 22 passes, 1 interception. That was on his first drive of the game. Flag is down. Catch made. Touchdown, Tennessee. Bernie Vesey, but wait here. It might be coming back.
Well, this is where they've had their success. Oh, my.
Motion, backfield, offense. 2nd and 20 instead of a 20-10 lead.
Boy, I'd like to see him come right back to this kind of play. They'll turn Clausen loose. Let him throw the ball down the field.
Illegal shift. 2 men moving at the same time on the offense. A 5-yard penalty. Keep it down.
Yeah. The 2 backs are both moving at the same time. But Steve, Tennessee has not wanted to throw the ball down the field to protect the quarterback from all those sacks. Remember, the last 2 games, he's been sacked 10 times. But right now, Memphis's defense is geared up to stop the run. Let the kid throw the ball down the field. It's working.
Clausen over the middle. Fumble on the play. Memphis football. Jarvis Slayton on the coverage.
Steve, what happens here is Martin reaches out, tries to catch this ball in his body. He has to do that because it's slick. And then when he gets hit from behind, the ball pops out. That's a nice strip, but that ball is not secured yet. And that's the problem when it's wet, and you've got to let that ball into your body when they're going to hit you from behind.
Memphis needs a long drive. On their 1 touchdown, they went 82 yards for a score. They're 82 yards away here, and they throw the football to Al Sermon, and Sermon gets the first down past the 30-yard line.
Steve, that was critical for Memphis's defense. If Tennessee had scored a touchdown and gone up by 10 points, that would have been very difficult for Memphis's offense to overcome, as well as the Volunteer defense is playing right now. But to get the ball back for Scott Shear now, only down a field goal with 14:35 to go in this fourth quarter, that was a humongous way to stop that Tennessee drive.
Anthony Sessions, the great linebacker, leads the team in tackles coming in with 59. He'll be cramping up on the field, and we're hoping that is all it is, as Sessions likely will be replaced by Andre James or Eddie Moore, who came in earlier for Eric Westmoreland. But Tennessee, a few mistakes in the game. They made 3 turnovers, and they've also had 7 critical penalties. The last penalty took away their touchdown, which could have given them a 20-10 lead over the Tigers.
And that's been the difference in the game. And you look at now at this 13-10, 2 field goals by Tennessee that puts them ahead by 3 points. Both of those field goals were set up by special teams gaffes by Memphis. And so both teams have capitalized on opponents' mistakes.
The 5'9" redshirt sophomore, who was only recruited by Ivy League schools, remains the quarterback. Play action. Shear stepping up. Incomplete. Flag down. Darshay Epting was the intended receiver. Eric Westmoreland may have mugged him a little too early.
They ran this play in practice as well yesterday, Steve. They ran Darshay Epting from the backfield all the way down the field.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first.
What happens here, though, is Shear steps up and then doesn't throw on the first hitch. He throws on the second hitch. And so Westmoreland is ahead of himself when he comes over the top. If this ball would have been thrown on the first hitch when Shear first started to do it, that would have been perfect timing.
And on Memphis's only touchdown drive this afternoon, it was a pass interference call on that drive that helped them out and continued their offensive possession. Pass interference has helped them out here, giving them a first down at the 45. They complete the pass to the 46 in Tennessee territory. Al Sermon with the catch of the Scott Shear pass.
And going against Willie Miles, that's that slant that we talked about. Willie Miles with outside leverage allows Sermon to get free in the middle, expecting safety help inside. But Shear threw the ball before the safety could get there. Quick slant.
Trevor, would you like to see Rip Shear and his son Scott take a chance here? Second and short. He's really got a play to give. Play action, go deep.
I would, no.
All right, you're going to run for the first down. And they look to get it as they run Sugar Sanders up the middle. Albert Hainsworth lost his helmet.
Hainsworth does that a lot, actually.
But he didn't lose his head. He kept his cool. Albert, who was a freshman All-American last year, he's out of Hartsville, South Carolina. He's been playing a little more than Edward Kendrick today. Been Henderson, Hainsworth on that defensive line. Flag down. What happened here, boy?
They broke 12 guys out of the huddle.
You're kidding. You're telling me Sermon didn't get out of there in time?
Illegal substitution. 12 men breaking the huddle on the offense. A 5-yard penalty.
That can't happen.
No, Sugar Sanders, they put in the 4 wide receiver package. Sugar Sanders was supposed to come out, and he did, but he didn't get the message before the receivers got to the huddle. Therefore, they all broke, the receivers lined up, and Sugar Sanders ran to the sideline. That's a penalty. Because they don't want you to do that to try to trick the defense. That's why they don't let you do it.
8 against Tennessee, 5 against the Tigers. Too tall, intended for Billy Kendall. So Scott will face a second down and 15 situation here with 13 minutes remaining in this football game.
Well, they're still in good position here. Look at the field position. By getting those couple of first downs, even if they've got a punt, they send Tennessee back deep into their own territory to start the next drive. This is the game plan that Rip Shear has. Gain field position, let your defense win it, and they still have plenty of time to kick 2 field goals even if they don't get into the end zone.
Shear will run it. And they will gain only 2 yards, making it 3rd down and 13. Dernice Weary scored the only touchdown for Memphis, trying to break outside.
That's an interesting call because you can almost guarantee that on 3rd and this long, they're going to throw a quick slant or a screen pass if they throw it all. If they throw down the field this time to try to get this first down with a typical long pass, I'll be really surprised.
The last 4 third downs have been very negative. A sack, 2 incompletions, and 1 completion, but for 0 yards. Single coverage left side. Scott eluding the sack, now drops the football, and Tennessee has it. Big John Henderson.
Boy, and Rip Shear is just thinking right now that I should have stayed with my game plan. That time, he did exactly that. Scott Shear dropped back, tried to throw the ball deep down the sideline on the go route, and it was covered very well. And this is why Rip Shear calls 3rd down so conservatively, to avoid this. Now, when he drops the ball here, look at Henderson reach that big paw out there and pull it in. But this is what Rip Scheer wanted to avoid by calling third down conservatively. That's the first aggressive play call he's had this whole game on third down, and Murphy's Law is alive and well in the Liberty Bowl today.
Here goes Tennessee back on offense. Play action. Complete, 32-yard line. Dante Stallworth.
When you're an offensive coordinator and you find something that works, you go to it. Turn the kid loose. Let's see what he can do.
Well, he has a heck of an arm, particularly in this kind of weather.
Well, plus he's a big kid. He's a big, tall kid. And so he has got the ability to put his hands all the way around that football. I mean, he's 6'4", 210.
First true freshman to start at Tennessee since Peyton Manning in 1994. Shotgun. Clausen will run it. Big hole left side. And diving forward to the 26-yard line, Travis Henry.
Travis Henry gets about 2.5 yards after he's first hit. Remember that he is a bull of a running back. Number 45, Bartholomew does a good job. He's hit there by Derek Ballard, but then he goes forward for another 2 yards. And we're now in the Travis Henry zone in the fourth quarter. This is when he's the best.
Scored that big touchdown from a yard out last week on the final drive, completing Tennessee's win over South Carolina. Henry escapes to the 25. He is knocked out of bounds, but not before he gets a first down for the Volunteers. You know what? There's been some hard hitting on that field, and let's listen to the hit on Travis Henry put on by Fred Powell. That is tough. Fred, the senior from Kingsport, Tennessee. He wants Trevor Mattis's job. He is a broadcast major. He made a big interception last year of a T. Martin pass. David Martin goes in motion. Henry inside the 10. Bashir knocks him down. It is first and goal for the Volunteers.
Well, this is a weird-looking play, Steve. Will Bartholomew comes through. He's looking for Derek Ballard, but Derek Ballard is kind of going side to side. Look at Ballard, look at Bartholomew, and they'll go here, and then he'll end up on this guy. Bartholomew has got 58 in his sights, but he scoots over there, so he goes and just blocks the next guy. That's good awareness by Bartholomew. He may be the most underrated blocking fullback in the nation.
Henry still under 2 yards per carry. Travis gets it again, stuffed by Memphis. Loss of a yard, second and goal. Marcus Bell rung his bell.
That was a huge play for Memphis. They are now in the same situation that they were in the last series. Remember, if they hold Tennessee to a field goal here, they are still within one score of taking the lead. But if Tennessee can get a touchdown and go up 2 scores, it'll be very difficult for Memphis to come back.
Well, they're running Travis Henry over and over, and we asked Randy Sanders if he ever gets tired after that great drive he had against South Carolina, and said, no, Travis Henry's like a shark. He's all muscle and cartilage, there's no bone. There's Travis with the lead. Well, Smokey, the fake dog, has his overalls on, and he's trying to get the orange. The Volunteers back to number 1. Position they finished in 1998. T. Martin led them to that brilliant victory over Florida State. Tennessee would go 13-0. Volunteers trying to go 5-3 with a win over in-state Memphis. Third down conversions, 4 for 13. Clausen goes shotgun. Casey down the field, incomplete, intended for Cedric Wilson. So it's 4th down, and Philip Fulmer will go back to Alex Walls, a young man who has made all but 1 field goal this year.
And he missed that by the width of his head. It was so close.
This will be from 27 yards out, right hash mark. Up, perfect. Tennessee by 6 over Memphis. Could it be like last year's score, only in reverse? 17-16, a final. Tennessee won last year. In return, Kevin Frazier will be back for the post-game report.
2 more games on the way once we're finished in Memphis at 3:30 Eastern. It's a Conference USA battle between 13th-ranked Southern Miss and Louisville, and we'll finish the day in the Big 12 with Texas and Texas Tech. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 Eastern. That's all ahead, but right now, let's get back to the Liberty Bowl and Steve Fizia.
And Kevin, we're looking forward to seeing Southern Miss go against Louisville, because that could be for the Liberty Bowl. Southern Miss going in unbeaten at 3-0 in Conference USA, and Louisville at 3-1. Hattiesburg is going to be hopping. The Wolves will be kicking off. They just went 32 yards in 7 plays after the second turnover by Memphis. Memphis 2 turnovers, Tennessee with 3. Volunteers lead by 6. It was a late drive by Tennessee last year that beat Memphis. Will Memphis be up to the challenge in the year 2000? And Ryan Johnson lets it go out of bounds. So penalty flag thrown on Tennessee. And Memphis doesn't get bad field position.
And I don't see any change whatsoever.
Kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Ball will be taken at the 35-yard line. First down.
Next week, it's a Big 12 showdown on Fox Sports Net. College football Saturday. Heisman Trophy candidate Eric Crouch leads Nebraska against conference rival Kansas State with a trip to the Big 12 championship game on the line and national title hopes. Number 5 Nebraska, number 19 Kansas State, plus other regional action. Beginning the college football pregame show at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific next Saturday on Fox Sports Net. Well, you said Tennessee would be jamming that line of scrimmage. They came hard.
They did. They put 8 guys up. Man coverage on the 2 wide receivers out to the side. And they tried to run a counter, but Big John Henderson got penetration on the backside of that thing and blew it up.
Meantime, Kansas State, after losing 2 straight games, 49-3, demolishing of Iowa State. And the Cyclones were beginning to get better in that Big 12 conference, but the Wildcats at home say, nope, not so fast. They've got 49, and they're still in the 3rd quarter. 3 wide left side. Shear fires. Perkins is ripped down at the 30-yard line by Tennessee's Tad Golden.
That's the coaching chess match. First down, they attack the line of scrimmage. They stuff the run. Second down, anticipating that Memphis would expect them to attack it again, they drop a bunch of guys off, and that puts a zone facing the short pass. So when all those underneath zone guys are facing a short underneath pass like that, they're able to break on it very quickly.
So the crowd picks up here at the Liberty Bowl. Memphis on 3rd down and 15. Rush from 4. Underneath throw to Perkins. Bunky's going nowhere. They just grabbed him like a calf that was coming out of the stalls and roped him down like you see in a rodeo. And Shear has been limping throughout the second half. Limps off again.
Well, this series is all for Tennessee's defensive brain trust. Defensive coordinator John Chavis, he had the exact right calls, whether to blitz, whether not to blitz, what to do. That time, Memphis expected another blitz. They dropped out again, and Scott Shear dumped the ball off quickly because he thought it might be a blitz, and they were all over the underneath route.
Well, this Tennessee team reminds me more and more like that 94 bunch. Peyton Manning was a freshman. Casey Clausen is a freshman this time. Baker is knocked down at the 36-yard line. 38 yards in the punt. About 5 on the return. Remember, Tennessee won their last 5 games that year. They used 3 quarterbacks that year, just like they've used this year. They had a great defense. And in the last 5 games, the last 3, they averaged 50 points a game, so they really got the offense going late.
And Peyton Manning was the 3rd quarterback to come in as a freshman, just about the same time here as Casey Clausen. And now, and with Casey Clausen and this young offensive line to be able to grow together in several years, this offense will be dominant.
Well, they hope to finish out this year the same way, go 8-4. They are 4-3 coming in. Eric Parker, who had one of his best games in his career against Memphis last year with 4 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Also had that 69 punt return for a touchdown against the Tigers.
Well, Memphis' defense has not made the adjustment to the deep balls, the medium to deep balls that Clausen is throwing. They're still giving plenty of space under there. And right now, they've got to do something because they're getting gouged.
First down. This time, Calvin Lewis from behind catches Travis Henry. Yeah, they need a defensive stop right here, and as you said, they needed to score on special teams or on a defensive play, not where they force a turnover, but where they score on a play.
Yeah, the defense right now is thinking that way. This reminisces back to the opener against another SEC team, Mississippi State, where the defense at the end actually did strip the ball from Mississippi State's quarterback and took it in for a touchdown that would have tied the game, but the official made the wrong call, said the quarterback was down. You know they're thinking the same thing now. Guys, at this point in the game, we have to get a touchdown.
Clausen straight back with time. Now it erodes, and Casey will be sacked. Great play by Calvin Lewis and Andre Arnold. Arnold just to keep him in the pocket.
Well, Andre Arnold, take a look at him come off the corner, and look at the adjustment that he makes. He gets blocked by the back, that's Travis Henry, and then Clausen comes outside, and look at the pursuit. Henry goes back and tries to get him again. But Arnold is able to out-athlete Travis Henry on that play and make the play.
And Andre with his 11th sack this year. Now 3rd down. Clausen will go shotgun. Memphis showing blitz, but where will they come from? They'll run, and it's stopped. Henry is stopped by Kamal Shakir and Derek Ballard.
Well, this is a good call. Tennessee's defense has been dominant this half. Run the ball, get a couple more yards, and then let your punter punt them down into poor field position. And they're coming with a block formation, Steve. 10 guys up on the line.
They drop 2. Ryan Johnson with excellent speed will make the catch 14-yard line. Ryan gets to the outside. Johnson finally brought down at the 36. Is this the break Memphis needed?
Punter David Leverton makes that play, and he may have saved the game for Tennessee. Otherwise, Ryan Johnson goes all the way. He slips one guy right there. That's Eddie Moore, number 37, and now it's off to the races. He's got to beat the punter. Can you beat the punter? Well, Leverton's a pretty good athlete and does just enough. He's looking inside for the other pursuit, and Leverton is able to make that stop. Now, can they convert this into points?
Scott Shearer. Low snap. Shearer sacked again. Albert Haynesworth.
Johnson was slipping in. Now look at his eyes. He looks inside. He looks inside. And then late, he tries to juke the punter. And that was a good job by Leverton, knowing that he's not enough of an athlete to try to attack Ryan Johnson. He sat there and made Ryan Johnson juke 2 times, 3 times, and that made time for the other troops to come in and close off the other running lanes for Johnson. But still a tremendous return for Ryan Johnson.
Now Memphis offense has to get going. They throw it incomplete right to the hands of Al Sermon, and he was open. You've got to catch that football late.
You've got to catch that football. Look at him wipe his hands. It's not a soaking, drenching wet. When it's totally soaking, drenching, you can catch a football. The problem is when the skin of that football is kind of sort of wet. When there's a thin sheen of water over it, it's much more slick. And you can see Al Sermon wiping that sheen off of his hands onto that 13.
Trevor, some guys like to use the gloves. In this weather, what's better, gloves or hands?
You know, I would prefer the gloves.
Here it is, third down. Shear scrambling, throwing, completing it, well short of the first down. He needs to get to the 26-yard line for a first down. It'll be fourth down and decision time for Rip Shearer.
Well, you go for this. You have to go for this. You can't count on Ryan Johnson getting that kind of a return again to set it up. But, boy, let's remember this moment, Steve, at the end of this game. If the score stays the same and David Leverton, the punter, saved the touchdown that would have cost the Volunteers the game, let's remember this moment and see if it turns out that way. Here they go with a field goal.
Wow. Well, they have 3:36 and counting. Ryan White, one of the best field goal kickers in the country. They just used up another timeout. So Memphis has one timeout left. 3:30 to play. Tigers down by 6 to the Volunteers. Shearer has changed his mind. He brought the field goal team on. Now he has changed his mind. He's called a timeout. And on fourth down and 7 yards to go, this could be it in the game for the Tigers.
They've got some choices here. Look for the tight end, Billy Kendall. That might be the best choice.
He's on the right side. Shearer in shotgun, rolls that way. Scott throws, completes the pass. First down, 19-yard line, Trip Higgins.
They elected to keep the tight end Billy Kendall in for max protection to give Shearer time to throw. And take a look at the separation. He gets about 2 yards, 3 yards beyond the sticks, and then he comes back. And when he goes down there, he's still about a foot in front of the first down marker. Good timing. And Shearer, he's not too excited. He knows that's just one step.
They'll stay in shotgun, keep one back in. The blitz is on by Tennessee, picked up nicely. The throw to Kendall. Touchdown! There is a flag down.
That's it there. Just the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Scott Shearer, the coach's son, 24 yards to Billy Kendall.
You saw the poise in his eyes and on his face when he converted that fourth down to Trip Higgins. He still knew there was business to be done. Very poised.
Now the important point after touchdown by Ryan White.
And remember, punt snaps have been very high for Memphis this game.
Up and good. Last year's score was 17-16. Tennessee won it. This year, 17-16 Memphis. But almost the same amount of time left in the game when Tennessee got the football back and drove 78 yards and scored on a game-winning touchdown from T. Martin to his wide receiver, Cedric Wilson. Orange crushed. Will it happen?
It's prophetic. Look at the ball come down. That's Andre Lott, the safety, way out there on Billy Kendall. It was tight coverage, even though it was pass interference. But look at how Kendall uses his body. He bullies Lott. He bullies him, and he pulls that ball down. There's no way the smaller man has a prayer to get that ball out.
And look at the reaction for the 5'9", 180-pound redshirt sophomore from Colliersville, Tennessee. And this is what's great about college football. You've got a kid who was only recruited by the Ivy League schools. Philip Fulmer didn't even take a look at him. When his day is done, he's going to be a coach. He has no chance of playing at the next level. But Scott Shearer just led the team down the field and scored the go-ahead touchdown with 2:56 left. 5 plays, 36 yards. Remember, it was the 50-yard punt return by Ryan Johnson that set it up. Well, in '96, they tore down both goalposts when Memphis upset Tennessee. The kickoff return. A beauty for the Volunteers. Out past the 45-yard line. A great start for Tennessee as Leonard Scott almost brought it all the way back.
And keep in mind, Alex Walls, their field goal kicker, is nearly in range now with that return. They split out Kendall way out here. And as he runs way out to the side, he makes a run clear to the corner of the field.
After the 44-yard kickoff return by Leonard Scott, now it's 18-year-old Casey Clausen's turn. Not much by Travis Henry. Andre Arnold on the tackle.
This is a terrific run back by Leonard Scott. Good blocking. He gets up in first to his right, and number 82 is Ryan White. Is not able to even make him stutter. That's the difference between Leverton's stop of
Billy Kendall, the go-ahead touchdown, Memphis with the lead. Henry, not much, Idris Bashir.
Now we're looking at a situation here with Alex Walls. Keep in mind that up until this game, when he missed one field goal by a hair, he was the only perfect field goal kicker in the nation. And now we sit at 3rd down and 2. They're about 2 first downs away from being well within Alex Walls' range as the clock runs down below 140.
4 for 14, converting 3rd down. They run it again. Big hole, and they get the first down. Travis Henry pushing past the defensive tackles, past the linebackers, and Philip Fulmer said, we want to make Memphis's safeties make tackles. They did on that play. Alex Walls, who only had 1 miss all year long.
Well, this year his long is 47. Last year he hit a 51-yard field goal.
Sweep left. Henry inside the 40-yard line. Coot Terry on the tackle. You know, it is still a long field goal, and with the wet weather and the wind kind of swirling around here in the Liberty Bowl.
The wind is not consistent. Sometimes it's dead, sometimes it'll swirl in circles. They need to get to the 30-yard line for a 47-yard field goal, which would tie his longest for the year so far. So Tennessee, once they get it to about the 30, they are now well within range of Alex Walls.
Alex Walls, who came into this game the only perfect kicker in college football. 13 for 13 in field goals, 17 for 17 in extra points. He has missed only 1 in this game, and it missed by the hair of Philip Fulmer's chinny chin chin. Well, sweet revenge. 99, Tennessee beat Memphis by scoring a touchdown with a minute to go. Today, Memphis has the lead by scoring with 2:56 left. You know, they were surrounded by 2 big games. South Carolina last week, Arkansas next week. Memphis had 2 weeks off after that tough 3-overtime loss to Houston.
Tennessee opened, shut out of the end zone in the first half. They only had a field goal by intermission, but now with 16 points, they're down by 1 and 6 yards away from being within range.
2nd down. Derek Ballard, the outside linebacker. Clausen will go shotgun, and Memphis showing that unusual front where you don't know how many they're going to bring. They bring 6. Clausen downfield, catch made, 29-yard line, first down for the Volunteers.
Tennessee with no timeouts left now. That stops the clock. 55 seconds to go. They'll move the change and restart the clock. They're now within range. Now's the time to not throw that football. Oh, there they go.
Clausen will throw it again. Trying for Bartholomew. It is incomplete. Clock stops with 49 seconds to go.
Boy, interesting. Of course, throwing it to Bartholomew out in the flat is a very safe throw.
Well, you know what? You're still taking a chance from this far out in this kind of weather.
You are.
I think they need to get closer to the middle of the field, and they need at least 10 more.
They've been running the ball well in the fourth quarter. The first 3 quarters, they were stuffed, flat, completely could not move the ball an inch. Averaged 1.2 yards per carry. But the fourth quarter, they've been running it, and they are within range of Walls.
Clausen to his tight end inside the 25-yard line.
Well, it's paid off for him. That's confidence that Fulmer has in his young quarterback, Casey Clausen, to execute under this kind of a pressure situation and throw the ball down here with the game on the line.
David Martin now in the slot. Clausen again looking for Martin. Ooh, another clutch catch, this time at the 17-yard line. 20 seconds to go. Let's see if Fulmer runs to the right to get right at the middle of the field. They just throw the football to the turf. 18 seconds remain. Memphis with a remarkable comeback. Scoring at 3:56. Rip Shear's son, Scott Shear, threw a touchdown to Billy Kendall, 24 yards out. Alex Walls, who's missed from 38 in this game, the only miss he has had in the year 2000. If they get it right here, the field goal would be from about 34 yards out. Look at Rip Shear's team, 3-11 in games decided by 4 points or less. Memphis is attempting to go to their first bowl game since 1971. A win over Tennessee is imperative. From 34, and the victory, Alex Walls. Good! Tennessee trying to break the Memphis Hearts for the second year in a row in the final minutes.
Here's the snap in the hold. Perfect snap, perfect hold. And that ball doesn't curve at all. It goes exactly where Walls was pointed, right down the middle.
And Philip Fulmer.
It's airborne there.
Just seconds away from his 5th win of the year, and for Rip Shear, he can only hope his Tigers have one more miracle left. Alex Walls, the outstanding young kicker, just a sophomore, had kicked 15 field goals in a row and then missed his first today. Philip Fulmer will now leave Walls in the game. He will not have Christian Chauvin kick off. Instead be Walls. Yeah, Memphis, they have lost 7 straight versus the SEC. Their last win was against this team, Tennessee, 1996, 21-17.
Tennessee developing into the cardiac kids. This is how they beat South Carolina. Needed a drive to score at the very end of the game, and Clausen pulled it off.
And a Travis Henry 1-yard run. Here come the Tigers.
Get on the ground.
At the 31-yard line, just 9 seconds remaining. Well, the kickoff return was really critical in that drive. A 44-yard return by Leonard Scott.
The key here is that he gets up into the line as the blocks are being made. Excellent job of setting up those blocks and then getting there so that his team didn't have to sustain the blocks for too long. He almost went the entire distance, but it is that return that allowed the offense to do the play calling that it did to get in range for that field goal.
So Tennessee will play their prevent defense with 9 seconds left of free safeties, a good 30 yards off the line of scrimmage. Scott Shear, last play of the game. Going deep. Incomplete. He'll have one more play. The executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. The coordinating producer of College Football Saturday, Roy Hamilton and Gary Garcia. Today's producer, Tom Hewitt. Director, Doug Freeman. The College Football Saturday studio show is produced by Loy Maxon and directed by Joe Woitis. Vice President of Field Operations is Andrea Berry. And again, we will have a post-game report from all around college football after the ball game with Kevin Frazier and Artie Gigantino and Kellen Winslow. Now 3 seconds remain here in Memphis. Shear. Scott just throws it up for grabs. And the Volunteers are victorious. Rip Shear accepts his congratulations and a job well done, but it's Phillip Fulmer's Tennessee Volunteers that go to 5-3 overall this year. A step closer to another bowl opportunity for the Tennessee team. What a performance by Memphis, who again gave them 60 minutes of high energy college football.
Offensive and defense on both sides fought each other to a standstill. This game came down to special teams. That special teams return by Leonard Scott that set up the winning field goal. The special teams turnovers by Memphis that allowed 2 field goals in a 2-point defeat.
Well, you said it would come down to kickers, and it certainly did, as Alex Walls hits one from 34 yards out with just 18 seconds left, and Tennessee wins it 19-17. 2 of the best kickers in college football, and one of them decides it.
Laces forward. The holder hardly had to spin it at all. Perfect setup for the kick.
So that's it from Memphis, Tennessee, where the final score is 19-17. The Volunteers over the Tigers. Coming up next on Fox Sports Net, it's Louisville Cardinals visiting the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, followed by a Big 12 matchup as Texas visits Texas Tech. College Football Saturday has been a presentation